Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of Yashala. Call Haloyim Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakakadash for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwathium that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts, man. More precepts. All right. Buddy on the screen. I have no idea exactly who this person is. Seems like an intelligent individual. But basically what this man is about to speak on caught my interest. It's about society being divided, but not in the sense that one would think of in the climate today. It's more so being divided into those who know and those who don't, right? The ignorant versus the informed, right? And like I said, he brought out some key points. So I'm gonna let the video play, and I'm gonna bring out a few precepts here and there, and most high willing, we'll get edified. So without further ado.
One thing that I've heard the average person say, well, if that was true, then I'd hear about it in the news. If that was true, they expect it to be on mainstream news. This illusion that's been created, I think it's been created so that they can control the narrative. At some point, you have to ask yourself, are human beings really that stupid? And if they really are, then maybe it is time that the human species be purged, because this is just a new order of magnitude stupidity we're seeing. We're witnessing things that absolutely defy every aspect of logic. You've got children that understand this and know it's idiocy. I mean, even children are pointing this out. We're pushing the world to the brink of war. And it's not war between nations, it's war between people that know the truth and aren't going to put up with this idiocy anymore, and those that are trying to perpetrate this lie. Because the whole thing is, they want to make sure he who controls the narrative dictates history.
He who controls the narrative dictates history, right? Such as our history, right? We have no idea of our exact history because of the several wars that we lost. And, in war, one example of what I'm about to say is, the so-called Holocaust, right? Whether it was planned or not, whether it organically happened or not, either way it go. During that war, Hitler burned books. I know a lot of people are like, what's the importance of that? I mean, it's very important because books are someone's story. Someone that was involved in a thing wrote down what happened in their life, and it marked a time in history, just like the Bible, right? So whoever wins said wars, hey, they get to write the story. So now we got a white Messiah. Everybody in the scriptures are white. We Africans now. From what country in Africa, no one knows, right? But that's a product of not knowing, right? Taking the knowledge of a people away, hey, that's a major move.
Very important difference between stupidity and ignorance, right? Ignorance is curable. There are many people that are ignorant, but if they want to empower themselves with knowledge, they can cure that ignorance and become aware. They learn, they understand. And many of us are ignorant on many subject matters that we don't participate in or partake in on a regular basis. So that's okay. There's nothing wrong with ignorance. That's why we have institutions of higher learning. That's why we have, courses that people take. Regardless, there's ways of curing ignorance. Stupidity, on the other hand, is not curable. No matter how much knowledge you have, you cannot cure stupidity. And this is the point right now I think we're at. From a global society standpoint, it transcends geographical boundaries, religious doctrine, politics. ethics, everything. It comes down to those that are aware and those that simply stick their head in the sand.
I see. He don't know script. That's why he threw religion in there. And I'm almost certain he views religion as pertaining to a book. The same way we, as so-called blacks or so-called African Americans, view the Bible as Christianity. So if anyone is speaking from the Bible, they're speaking from the point of view of a Christian, right? Or if a person is speaking of the Quran, they speaking from the point of view of a Muslim. When that's not so, we speak about passages in the Quran all the time, but it's just to edify the people on the point, right? That even in the Quran, Israel are the chosen people, and just because we hold a book doesn't mean we represent the doctrine of Christianity, right? So, in essence, he's a bit ignorant as well. But it's all about what you know and what you don't know. Right? At the end of the day, hey, whether or not you working towards that thing that you know or not, hey, you're gonna have to feel the pain of whatever knowledge it is that you stand on. Simple as that. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children." So not only are we ignorant, right? Not stupid. If you're stuck on stupid, that means it don't matter what, no matter what somebody show you, they can read it for you, right? They can show you how to break down the equation. They can put your hand on the pencil, literally force your hand to do the equation. You still won't get it, right? Or somebody can show you scripts and tell you your history. You still won't get it because you don't want to get it. Because you've been told a certain thing, and instead of you wanting to know the truth of the matter, you're okay with whatever the information is that was presented to you. Because 9 times out of 10, you're more of an emotional person. You're not a thinker. And that's not okay. Right? The Most High gave you a brain, so that brain has a certain level of understanding. If you choose not to activate that understanding, then ultimately you're choosing destruction. Ask our forefathers.
And refuse to acknowledge the facts. And it's amazing to me that I've seen people on both sides of the political party become aware. And I know people that are highly intelligent that have continued to stick their head in the sand, which I'm amazed, because I know that they're not unintelligent people, and yet they're stupid. And so intelligence has nothing to do with ignorance or stupidity. Intelligence is the raw cognitive ability to process information, but stupidity is a choice. Cognitive dissonance at a certain point is going to define whether a group of people or species itself is going to ultimately survive or not. Censorship is real, and that's what they're doing. The one thing is that you can't censor the truth. The truth will always become evident, whether it takes a week or it's 500 years, it will become evident. You cannot suppress the truth. Sooner or later, it's going to come out. And I think in today's modern world, we complain about censorship, but think about this, and especially the social media channels. But because of social media...
Salaki. All right, bro said, or dude said, no matter how hard you try to suppress the truth, it's gonna come out. Let me see. Salaki. Yeah, whatever you do in the dark, man, it's gonna come to light. You can try to hide it as long as you want, But at the end of the day, the truth it's gonna come out. Right? Hey, I remember when I was younger, man. I used to lie all the time for no reason, right? Just to make myself seem or look a certain way. And so one day I realized that, man, I had to like keep lying. Like I had to lie to remember the lie that I told back in the day. I was a little kid understanding this, right? Like a little kid. No one had to tell me this. It's just I figured it out because it became exhaustive. So I stood on the truth from that point forward because it was easier. I didn't have to force myself to remember some story that I made up. I just told it how it was. And that took a large burden off of my shoulders. I learned that lesson at an early age, right? But unfortunately, you have individuals that rely on lies, right? That's the only way they can exist. Because if they ever told the truth, their place of being in this world will not stand, right? And it's being brought out to light as we speak. That's why everything that's happening on this earth is happening, because the truth coming up. It's the book of John, chapter 8, and verse 43. It says, "Why do ye not understand my speech, even because ye cannot hear my word? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it." Right? He can't understand truth because he's from the devil. Right?
Because of the internet, information can be transmitted literally in seconds anywhere in the world, and that's what's happened. People can become their own broadcast stations, and the modern day book burning of censoring videos is nothing different than what they did 500 years ago when they were burning books. And so I think people recognize that, and if you really want to see what the truth is, look for fact checkers that they've fact checked something, and there you know that you're getting the truth. That's the easiest way. So it's a great filter. It's a good way of determining where should I put my attention. If part of that's not just the social media, it's also mainstream media and how they're censoring, and then the social media ends up being like the secondary afterthought. One thing that I've heard the average person say, well, if that was true, then I'd hear about it in the news. Or if that was true, my doctor would be talking about it. If that was true, they expect it to be on mainstream news. And by not having it mainstream news and having it on YouTube or on one of our own live feeds, whatever that case may, whatever venue that we have, it gives the impression to the average person, oh, well, this information is just what they refer to as conspiracy theory. Oh, that's just a loon, or that's just crazy, or that's just somebody that, is trying to get their message across. And that's okay for us to be labeled that way. I'm not complaining about us being labeled that way. What it does, though, is it prevents the truth from being disseminated.
Now, I ain't studying no title of conspiracy theories on whatever. I present the facts that I found through research, man. Different books. I have several books. I read, right? I read articles. I read. I watch a lot of historical videos. Right? Not to say that I spend every day, all day, every hour, every minute of my life studying. No. But I do study. All right? And the information that I know, man, I know. The Most High blessed me with that knowledge. He blessed me with a spirit of discernment. He blessed me with an appetite for knowledge. And I praise him for that. Because he ain't have to do that. Right? Let's see. Salakia. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 18. It says, "The simple inherit folly." Right? It says, "But the prudent are crowned with knowledge." Right? The simple inherit folly. We all was simple at one point in time in our life. We knew nothing. So we learned from people who knew nothing, right? There's not a diss on the people who didn't know anything. It's just all of us have been under this cloud of darkness because we've been ruled over by liars, right? Liars that had us in captivity. So their story is that, hey, we wouldn't be, people if they didn't do what they did, right? Like they did us a favor, right? We savages, so forth and so on. So we were taught to hate each other, taught to hate ourselves, taught to hate knowledge, hate the thirst for knowledge, right? So it's not their fault, but hey, you had to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, man. Study to show thyself approved, right? Just because you were brought up a certain way, that's not an excuse. Because, like I said earlier, the Most High gave all of us a brain and a certain level of understanding. We just have to activate that understanding, right? First and foremost, according to the scripture, by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's what's going to give you that righteous thirst for knowledge anyway, right? It says, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. You put in that work, you gon' know. You will know, right? You will know. Simple.
Try to invalidate the truth with ridicule. So there's the three phases of truth, right? The first is ridicule, second is violent opposition, and the third is accepting it as always.
So let me read this. It says ridicule. The first step is ridicule. Second is violent opposition. And the third is accepting it as always having been known as the fact. Like, I always know that is what it is. I've always known this, whatever thing. So you're not going to tell me it's something different. Right? Violent opposition. Those are mockers. That's script. In the last days, there'll be scoffers. Right?
Having been known as the fact. This illusion that's been created, I think it's been created so that they can control the narrative, and not just now, but this has been going on. This isn't a thing about right and left. It has nothing to do with that. That is a true statement. This is more to do with atrocities that are being committed, and the vast majority of the public does not know what's happening. They have no inclination to what the truth is. They have no awareness what the truth really is. These are parts of the narrative that the media has projected on us to let us go down a certain pathway, because remember, he who controls the narrative dictates history. So they're trying to control the narrative by allowing us to only hear what they want us to hear, so that history is recorded a certain way that they want it to be recorded. But
All right, simple as that. Right, that's why they control all of the media. Simple as that. Because they knew media is a machine. That's a device that controls one's mind. If they show you the narrative of one story enough on mainstream media, meaning the easiest thing to access, make sure the people stay poor. Some of us are so poor we can't afford Wi-Fi. Right? You can't afford a good phone to where you can really be online. So the only information that they're receiving is from the local media outlet. So if that local media outlet is pushing the same story nationwide, you being controlled mentally. So somebody that has access to other information presents you with a different type of information about the same story, you're not gonna believe it. Because like dude said, they gonna say, well, I haven't seen it on the local news. If it was that important and that groundbreaking, surely they would say something about it. Not understanding that your information is being controlled by people that want to control you. All right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 22. It says, "How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge." Hate knowledge. That's stupid. Those are stupid people. A person that hates knowledge is stupid. They're stupid because the information is there. You can easily read it. You can easily see about it, but you choose not to because you love simplicity. They have a saying that says ignorance is bliss, meaning ignorance is peaceful until that ignorance comes back to bite you in your ass, like we just read in Hosea 4. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Right? You can equate that to you being in a building. The bottom level of the building is on fire. You don't see it. You don't feel it. Like this some new age building to where each floor you can't smell nothing what's going on the other floor. You can't hear nothing. It's just solid. But the building burning down. You on Facebook, you seeing somebody say your building is on fire. You don't smell nothing. You don't feel nothing. So you like, whatever. Right? Ain't nobody called the news outlet. Ain't nobody called the fire department. For whatever reason. Right? But the building is burning down. You got some people telling you cutting on the news. You don't see nothing. So you just sitting there basically in your casket about to die because you choosing not to believe the information that's being given to you. You're not even walking out the door or looking outside. You ain't doing none of that. You just choosing to sit there and die. That's stupid. Right? That's a fool hating knowledge and it leading to his destruction.
Truth is different. My point is very simple. I want you to become autonomous. I want you to have your autonomy. I want you to be empowered with knowledge, because once you're empowered with that knowledge, the one thing is that nobody can take advantage of you. Nobody can victimize you. Nobody can solicit you and take away from you that which is innately yours, which is your freedom, your rights,
your own power, your own autonomy, your own ability. Knowledge secures you. Can't nobody just come tell you know anything. You just fall for it. The more knowledge you obtain. Knowledge is power, man. That's a real statement. That's not just something to make a neighborhood feel good about its ambition. That literally means whatever knowledge you acquire makes you all the more powerful in a society that creates drones and clones and robots mentally. Like mentally, you are being programmed. You're a computer. A computer ain't a computer unless it gets downloaded with some form of software. You put software on the computer, all right, now that computer is working. Depending on what kind of software you're putting in there. You are something that receives information, and they download information in you from the time you enter into school. They programming you from that point forward. But it's all on, hey, what software is in you? What is your knowledge? Does your knowledge equate to righteousness? Meaning godly? The word God means power. That means you're a powerful being if you have knowledge. But if you don't have any, you have no power. Just saying.
own power, your own autonomy, your own abilities that will make life incredible, that will truly empower people to be able to be more autonomous than you thought was possible. There's always a silver lining. So just because you're experiencing a hardship, I want you to remember that it's not about the destination. It's about that journey. And remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings, okay? That the fact that we're spiritual beings having that human experience tells us that we're here for a purpose. We're here to learn something. And yes, we can get enamored with all the hardships that we're dealing with, or the nonsense, or the BS, or the garbage. But remember, there's something here that is helping us, is helping our children. There's a purpose behind it. We may not be aware of the purpose. We may not be fully cognizant as to what that purpose is fully representing at this point, but we will be later.
Right, dude said some deep ass shit then, bro. That man said, first and foremost, we not humans with spirits. We're spirits experiencing humanity. And that's the truth. Right? We get so caught up in this physical carnality because it gets pushed on us all the time. It gets pushed on us in everything that we watch, everything that we listen to, everything that we see whenever we walk out the door. Right? Higher class, lower class. Who got the BMW and who got the Nissan? Who got the old school Chevy? Who got the Maybach? Who got the gold chains and who don't? Who has on the Fendi and the Gucci and so forth and so on, and who shopping at Walmart or Amazon or Target, whatever? Who got the Levi's and who got on the True Religion, if they're still popular? You see what I'm saying? But all of that is meaningless because once you leave here, okay, now what? Ain't nobody giving a damn about your clothes, your cars, your houses. It's all about how you lived. What did you experience when you was on this earth? Did you experience basically making everybody else's life pure hell? Or did you experience a form of righteousness in your life which equates to peace, not only to you, but those that surround you? Right? That man said something deep. This the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And let me see. 15 and verse 40. It says, there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. Right? That word celestial is heavenly. Terrestrial is earthly. Right? That's why they call aliens extraterrestrial, meaning otherworldly. They have some form of a body about them, but they're not from this earth. Right? It says, verse 41, there is one glory of the sun and another glory of the moon and another glory of the stars, for one star differeth from another star in glory. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. We're spirits. The spirit never dies. It just transfers from one spot to another, from one place to another. Stays in the same vibrational light. Meaning it stays in the same path. That's what a flame is. It's light. Heated up to a certain point. You know what I mean? Fire illuminates. Right? We are spirits experiencing a time in humanity, a time at a time. Because according to scriptures, we never really die. We just transfer from the earth to heaven, back down to earth, up to heaven, back down to earth, over and over and over again. Right? And we will get their full understanding later, like this dude just said. Let me see. Salakia. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 27 and verse 4. It says, "One thing have I desired of Yahweh, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of Yahweh all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of Yahweh, and to inquire in his temple." Right? One of these good old days, bro, we're gonna be able to ask our Father questions, and he gonna respond to us. It won't be a question of, is God real? That's a part of the new covenant. We won't have to teach about the Most High no more, because everybody gonna know. All of the nations around the earth are gonna come to us for answers, and we're gonna be able to give it to them. All of us are. There will be no more stupidity on the earth. No more ignorance. No more darkness. It'll be all light. Right? So I think that's enough of that video, man. Most High willing, man. Matter of fact, let me get one more precept before I close out. Because he kept speaking about purpose and everything. This our purpose, man. If you ever wonder why you was placed on this earth, because I know a lot of us, when we go through them real deal hard times, like we at the bottom of the belly of hell, like we going through a real life experience, and we start questioning, why am I here? You might have had all the ambition in the world when you were younger, but the older you got, that ambition kind of fizzled down. You know what I mean? Some of us to nothing, but some of us to a low or extremely low vibration. Some of us are still active, right? But if you ever wondered what was your purpose on this planet, this is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. That's your purpose. Because you're a spirit experiencing humanity. Humanity, things of the world is not your goal. Your goal is spiritual things, because we're spiritual beings in a world that operates worldly. Why? Because the covenant was given to us. That's why we're more spiritual beings. That's why the business of Christianity is the top business on the planet, because we are spiritual beings. Christianity out booming the drug game and the pimp game. It kind of fell off now, you know what I'm saying, because the Most High is putting damage to it by exposing the truth. Whatever is done in the darkness will come to light, man. And there's a lot of stuff that was done in darkness as it pertains to religion, like the dude was talking about. I understood what he was saying, but I also understand this is a heathen that's speaking. So what he was saying is different from those of us that are in the truth, that fully understand what is truth, what is knowledge, what is understanding, what is love, what is wisdom, right? So with that, Most High willing, this video and these precepts were edifying. Call Haloyim Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakakatash. Shalom, Yashal.